Mr. Prime Minister, first let's start with the latest meetings you've held both in Ankara and Istanbul. How they turned out to be, have they been productive?
Well, you see, there is a strategic partnership between the two countries, so all those meetings were actually putting on the table all different kind of topics, and we were discussing each individual topics. At the end, I believe that the whole visit was very successful, and I'm sure not only in political sphere but also in the economic sphere, which is continuing today.
Mm-hmm. Do you expect more Turkish investments in Serbia?
In fact, I do, and I believe that this part of the potential involvement of Turkish business people is not utilized sufficiently.
Mm-hmm. If we get back to Turkey's latest initiatives in the Balkans, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia and Turkey got together and launched a round of talks for the future of Balkans. How do you evaluate this?
First of all, Serbia is a country with the main pillar of the policy of this government is actually European integration. So, and part of European integration is good relations with neighbors, and we are trying to actually act in that respect, not only with Bosnia but with all other countries, including those which we had not so much bright recent history. Bosnia is one of them, and we are very pleased that Turkey is actually also supporting the policy of reconciliation. However, there are problems in Bosnia. You know that there are two entities, three nations, and Serbia is trying to play a constructive role by always issuing a statement that we are supportive to the territorial integrity of the country, so we are not supporting the dissolution of the country, but also we are supportive to the internal agreement to be made by the interested parties.
You mentioned you support the territorial integrity of Bosnia-Herzegovina, but we have repeatedly heard from Republika Srpska it threatened to go for a referendum for independence. You previously supported, in your words. How is the latest situation? If Republika Srpska again says, I'll go for a referendum for an independence, would you support it?
I don't think that this is a really serious current issue. There are actually two fears in Bosnia and Herzegovina. One fear is that there will be a disintegration of the country, and this is the fear of the Muslim part of the Bosnia. And there is the other fear, which is that the country will become unified with no entities. So we, as Serbia, we would like to give a positive answer on both those fears. So on one hand, we are supportive to the territorial integrity, and on the other, we are supportive to the agreement to be reached internally and not to be given from the outside. And with that policy, I believe there is a future for the country. If you support any of those problems, you will have unsatisfied people either on one side or on the other, and as a result you do not have a long-term sustainable solution. A long-term sustainable solution is something that we need in Balkans, not a short-term. You can press somebody and they say okay, but sooner or later it will pop up, and this is the problem. And that is why we believe that we should maybe use some more time, but eventually come to the long-term sustainable solution that will be a benefit for everybody.
Do you believe that the United Nations officials should leave the country, Bosnia-Herzegovina?
Well, eventually they will leave, but I'm not sure it will be so soon.
You're going with the negotiations with the European Union, but European Union presses on integration with the Europe, and you haven't recognized Kosovo's independence, whereas 75 countries have, and also Ratko Mladic is still at large. What are your comments on that?
First of all, I would like to say that not all the European members of European Union have recognized Kosovo.
Over 20 have, so.
Yeah, but not all, so there is no unanimity, and whatever they are doing in that respect is status neutral, because there is no consensus within the Union. In that respect, I believe that we will keep those negotiations on two parallel tracks. One track is to go and toward the path of integration of the country, and the other try to find a solution for Kosovo and Metohija. And I think that especially since this dialogue was actually put as the imperative for two parties, and it always was something which Serbia wanted, because we believe that the only dialogue and diplomatic and peaceful means should be used to resolve all the problems, including the most important ones, like the problems between Pristina and Belgrade. Plus, we believe that there might be, and there is, a possibility for historical reconciliation between Serbian and Albanian people, and I believe that there is a possibility to find, again, long-term solution, because sooner or later, if the solution is not long-term sustainable.
What do you mean by long-term solution? I mean
the solution that will be equally acceptable by all parties.
But the European Union says to Serbia, if you do not recognize Kosovo's independence, you cannot integrate with the Union.
No.
Which one weighs heavier for you?
This is I just explained to you that these are two parallel processes, and this is not what was given to us as a condition. And I believe that the Europe cannot issue that as a condition unless all the members, unless this is the policy of the entire Union. So far it has not been, and if we keep trying for the long-term sustainable solution, I believe that maybe we will find one.
Are you hopeful that you both will reconcile and recognize each other?
I have to. First of all, I am by my personal nature hopeful, and secondly, even if I am not, I need to be, because of the position where I'm at.
How about Ratko Mladic? He is still at large.
As it goes to Ratko Mladic, I think that there is no any second thought about our position toward Ratko Mladic. So we have engaged all our capacities to find him, and the minute we do, he will be arrested and transferred to Hague. So there is no single thinking of a different behavior of the government. Now, if there is a political will about that, then all the rest is, so to speak, technical problems. But you know that there are even more important, so to speak, refugiatives, or refugiative who is the most important power of the world is still looking for him and cannot locate him. Then no one can accuse us for not being successful on a technical level, because this might something not be possible. But we are devoted to that, and we will do whatever is in our yard.
If Libya, there's a big uprising in Libya, and NATO is considering whether to impose a no-fly zone or whatever. Maybe they can intervene militarily. You yourself maybe witnessed in 1999 NATO bombing. How did it feel, and how do you evaluate this situation?
Well, you see, Serbia is very small country to actually. We do have, as you said, our own bad experience, but in this very case we will be monitoring what is the attitude of, first of all, UN and European Union, and make up our final decision. So far we have been involved in the evacuation of the people, which we did successfully. Now it is unclear whether there will be a separation of the country, and if separation, why this ban on the flying. I think it's premature now to establish what are the outcome. But nevertheless, there are official organizations like, as I said, UN or EU, and we will see what will be the proposal.
What if NATO bombs Libya? Would it remind you the bad days you have experienced in 1999?
Probably it will remind us, although I must say that we are a member of Partnership for Peace, so we will for sure not contribute. We are not NATO members.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure was mine.